Hello, this is my third of my Christmas retrospective series. This time I'm going to be talking about my favorite Christmas movies, what they mean to me. And Christmas has been a long mainstay of cinema. One of the first movies was Edison's adaptation of A Christmas Carol. Um, and and there are a lot that mean a lot to me that I watch, if not every year, every other year. I do want to say Christmas Story is not on them, not on the list. In fact, it's one of my least favorite Christmas movies. There are different groups of people. There are people who like the Rolling Stones and people who like the Beatles. There are people who like Star Wars and there are people who like Star Trek. There are people who like A Christmas Story and people who like It's a Wonderful Life. I happen to be in the Beatles, Star Trek, and Wonderful Life camps. I know there are people who enjoy both, but that is where I stand. Also, Scrooged did not make the cut. It was just barely made the cut. But in repetitive viewings, it kind of gets old. But I still think it's a good movie and a good adaptation. But it just doesn't... It's very dated. And I'm still angry that the homeless guy that the Ghost of Christmas Present showed, Bill Murray's character, actually died. And it is pretty mean-spirited. So number 10 is Chasing Christmas. A lot of these are going to be adaptations of A Christmas Carol because that's my favorite Christmas story. Chasing Christmas is a fractured take on that with Tom Arnold and Leslie Jordan about when Ghost of Christmas Past gets very cynical and decides to go AWOL while Tom Arnold is in the past. And I really like Tom Arnold. I think he was a very good actor. I actually think it's one of his best movies. This is Ghost of Christmas Present, talking to the head of Bureau of Yuletide Affairs about Ghost of Christmas Past.
Off the record, sir. Have you noticed anything strange about Past today?
What do you mean?
It just seems that every time that I've talked to him, he seems
Apologize for the quality of the sound.
distant.
He's always been distant.
Like over distant. Well,
Let's get this over with.
you have a hot date?
Oh, I don't know, dear. What are you doing later on? Ghosts, please.
Okay, let's hear it. Who gets to go on this year's spiritual guilt trip?
I mean, he is so sardonic. He is such a skeptic. I showed this to my mom last year, and a good friend of mine, Doc's, this year, and it is cornball. But most of these movies are cornball. This is another scene from the same movie with Tom Arnold at his Scrooge best.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Do you have any other cola?
you need more than what we got?
Well, I like this brand, but I want plain cognac.
I'm not following you.
That's Santa Claus. Don't want him on there, okay?
You got somebody against Santa Claus?
No, but I just don't support what he represents. So, plain cans.
Santa not give you like a train set when you were a kid?
That's funny. Yes.
I got this really great lipstick and it's on sale.
I'm sorry, but I have to put it back because we are no longer shopping in this establishment.
Why not?
Because apparently the employees do not respect the customer's holiday beliefs.
Tom Arnold is very good in this movie, as is Leslie Jordan. Number 9 is Carol's Christmas. Another fractured take on A Christmas Carol. This time about the Scrooge type character is played by Wallace Shawn, but is the next door neighbor of the man that the ghost visits. The ghost keeps saying that he's Wallace Shawn's character and show them the present and the past and the future of Wallace Shawn's character. But is it a mistake? And that's one of the questions in the movie. It is kind of cornball. It starts really slow. The choice of having the ghost of Marley being a relative of Bob Marley, I think, was weak, but it gets really good in the second half. Here is Wallace Shawn as Rosecock.
You're calling me a thief, sir?
Well, I put that hat and scarf on my snowman yesterday. They were gone this morning, and now you're wearing them. So, carry the one, lose the remainder, divided by that look on your face. Yeah, I'd say that adds up to thief.
I am not a thief. I found these on a pile of snow.
That was a snowman.
It looked like a pile of snow to me.
And the man that is being haunted is a greeting card ad man who is very cynical and is beginning to lose his Christmas spirit himself. But the Wallace Shawn is great, but Larry Miller plays a perfect jerk. And he plays one here in the version of Barry Friedman, Ghost of Christmas Past.
Barry Friedman, Ghost of Christmas Past.
Barry Friedman?
Go on, say it. Was a Jew doing as the ghost of Christmas anything, huh? Believe me, it came as something of a shock to me, too. I was a comic in the Catskills. I'm on stage one night trying a lot of new stuff. Bombing. Suddenly a bottle comes flying out of the audience. Bang! I drop like a puppet. Instant Ghost of Christmas Past. I put in for the Ghost of Hanukkah Past. Didn't get it. Gave it to Youngman.
I mean, every line that he says is gold. My mom hates him. Because he's smarmy, he's condescending, he's a dick. Pardon my language. But that's why I like him. I mean, I love to hate this guy in whatever he is in. I think he is one of the best character actors at playing jackasses there is. I mean, if there was Oscar for playing those type of people, he would get it. Number 7 is Miracle on Elm Street. The original 1947 one with Edmund Gwynn and Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood is a great actress. She died too soon. I haven't seen her in a lot of her adult movies, but she was great in Miracle on 34th Street, and she was great in The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. If you haven't seen either, I would highly recommend it. There are so many scenes to pick from. And the scene I'm taking is when Kris Kringle, played by Edmund Gwynn, who believes he's Kris Kringle, and throughout the movie, very condescending and almost nasty psychiatrist tries to put him away. This is him having a conversation with a janitor who also plays Santa, played by Alvin Greenman.
Gee, that sure is an elegant costume.
Yes, I've had it for years. And years.
Sure makes a bum out of the one they gave you. But even that one's better than the one I wear.
You, Alfred?
Yeah, I play Santa Claus over at the Vineyard block, see?
No kidding.
Started about 2 years ago. They had a costume, but, well, it didn't have no padding, and since I carry my own padding around with me, I got the job, see?
You enjoy impersonating me?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I don't know, it's when I give packages to little kids, I like to watch their faces get that Christmas look all of a sudden. It makes me feel kind of good and important.
Good morning. Now, go right ahead.
This is fascinating.
He bought too many of the wrong toys. That's what I've been fighting against for years. The way they commercialize Christmas.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad isms floating around this world, but one of the worst is commercialism. Make a buck, make a buck. Even in Brooklyn, it's the same. Don't care what Christmas stands for. Just make a buck,
make a buck. I mean, that was true in 1947, but it just gotten worse and worse. Progressively worse. The commercializing of Christmas. I don't care about the war on Christmas. I don't care what atheists are doing to Christmas. I care what the admin are doing to Christmas. I mean, Christmas is about the birth of Christ, but it has also become a holiday of what is good in humanity. Jesus, the Son of God and the Son of Man, was the best of what humanity could be, and all these films glorify what is best in us, what Christmas brings out of us. And it's not spending big bucks on the next iBox or Xbox or any one of those boxes. Excuse me, I went on a little rant there. Number 7 is another take on A Christmas Carol, but this is A Christmas Carol meets Groundhog Day. Steven Weber plays an ad man. Most of the Scrooges today are ad men or television men. I would actually like to see an adaptation of Scrooge be a politician or a Wall Street banker, but that's just me. And seeing the weird ways that Steve Weber's character dies and then wakes up with an angel played by Molly Shannon and just trying to make it right so he can wake up and it will be Christmas Day. These are the 12 days of Christmas Eve.
Feeling less than jolly.
He's your son. You promised you weren't going to work today.
Excuse me for trying to close the biggest deal of my life.
But this modern-day Scrooge
Latin America is ours!
is about to get the wake-up call.
A giant hand just clutched him.
You have 12 days.
Till what?
You'll wake up and it'll be Christmas.
And if I don't wake up?
I love Groundhog Day, I love A Christmas Carol. Combine the two, I love it even more. A lot of these movies will be on Hallmark or Lifetime. TiVo them, look in the TV guide. If you don't, rent them. Number 6 is The Very Muppets Christmas Movie. This was an NBC special about 7 years ago with David Arquette, Joan Cusack, Whoopi Goldberg, and lots of other stars. And basically the plot is kind of similar to the new Muppet movie that I want to see. Joan Cusack is an evil nightclub designer who wants to destroy the Muppets Theater to build a goth nightclub. And Kermit, because of Fonzie's a wacky thing that happened to Fonzie. He lost the money that was supposed to buy the theater, and Kermit actually tries to freeze himself to death. This is David Arquette and Kermit the Frog.
Do me a favor and don't bother. Nobody can save me.
I think I can. You see, my name is Daniel, and I've been sent from above in the name of justice to right a wrong and help you get the theater back.
You? You look like some kind of an ice cream man from Hello Dolly.
Well, normally I'm an accountant.
Yeah, well, normally I'd love to sit and listen to this, but I've got other things on my mind. Goodbye.
No, you don't understand. I know that Bitterman changed the contract.
How do you know that? Oh, wait a second. You don't run one of those Muppet Internet fan sites, do you?
No. I'm a friend, and I'm here to help. I'm sure if we put our heads together, we could come up with a plan.
Sure, whatever.
What would the boss do? Hey, We'll call the press. Alert the media. Start a frenzy.
No way, pal. Bitterman owns the paper, she owns the TV stations, and 3/4 of the internet.
How could one person own so much?
Corporate synergy. It's out of control. Now, could you please just leave me alone? Please!
Actually, I'm not allowed to. Besides, you should not be alone right now. You're not yourself.
Yeah.
Kermit the Frog would not walk out on his friends on Christmas Eve.
Walk out? What do you know about my friends, huh? I'll tell you what I know. My friends would be better off without me. That's what I know.
What? That is not true.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. In fact, I've ruined their lives, and I wish I'd never been born.
Oh, no. You did not just say that. You did not just say that.
I did just say it. I said, I wish I'd never been born.
What am I supposed to do now?
I wish I'd never been born. There, I said it again. I wish I'd never been B-O-R-N born. I wish I'd never been born.
Chapter 12.
This is hilarious. It's funny. It's hilarious. Number 5 is not so hilarious, but it's true. This is a trailer for Joyeux Noel. I think it was a American, French, and German-made film about the Christmas truce during the futility of what was World War I. Some Germans sang Silent Night and came over to the I think it was the English trenches, and basically they had a Christmas party, sang Christmas carols, shared brandy, showed each other pictures of their family, played a football match, and the authorities that be, both the Germans and the English and the Allied forces, basically had a snit fit. And the Germans actually sent these brave, conscious, great human beings to be killed on the Russian front. This is a trailer for Joyeux Noel. A true story. Battlefield in France.
The defenders of civilization itself, the forces of good against the forces of evil. But this war is indeed a crusade to save the freedom of the world.
C'est peut-être une diversion vu la sale coup, non?
Could be a dirty track.
Good evening. Do you speak English?
Yes, a little.
We were talking about a ceasefire for Christmas Eve. The outcome of this war won't be decided tonight. I don't think anyone would criticize us for laying down our rifles on Christmas Eve.
Don't worry. It is just for tonight.
The world made them enemies.
What are you waiting for? Shoot him!
One night would make them brothers.
Artillery will shell you in 10 minutes, so I suggest you come shelter in my trench. I would recommend watching this movie. It's heartrending. And the pastor that you heard talking about it being a crusade, that wasn't the pastor that was there during the Christmas truce. That was the pastor they replaced after sent the pastor back to Scotland. And these Christians who believe war is a great crusade do not follow Christ. We're supposed to love our enemies. What the Germans, what the French, what the English did, that truce, that is Christianity, my friends. That is mercy. That is Christian fellowship. That is Christian love. What the pastor said is lies straight from the pit of hell itself. Okay, Number 4 is Christmas Vacation. I mean, this wouldn't be a list without Christmas Vacation. It's a family dysfunctional Christmas. There's so many lines. I couldn't be more surprised if you stapled my head to the carpet. Don't piss me off, Art. I have to sleep with your father. Now don't be melodramatic. And this quote. I have to warn you, there is some bad language in it.
It's a 1-year membership in the Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh, good.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
That it is, Edward. That it is indeed.
I'm sorry. Clark.
This isn't the biggest bag over the head punch in the face I ever got. God damn it! Son.
Chevy Chase can play Mental Breakdown better than anyone.
Hey! If any of you are looking for any last-minute gift ideas for me, I have one. I like Frank Shirley, my boss, right here tonight. I want him brought from his happy holiday slumber over there in Melody Lane with all the other rich people, and I want him brought right here with a big ribbon on his head. And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is! Hallelujah! Holy shit!
I know that I shouldn't smile, I shouldn't laugh at it, but I can't help it. And I mean, also, part of it doesn't mean spirited, so I don't know why I like this one, but not Scrooged. Number 2 and 3 are almost tied. It's Scrooge and Muppets Christmas Carol. 2 adaptations of A Christmas Carol, and I want to apologize that this is so long. They are both great. Albert Finney was in Scrooge. Michael Caine was in The Muppet Christmas Carol. They have great music. And it's just... I know the end of the story, but I just don't care. I love watching the transformation, and I love it. These are 2 songs from Muppets Christmas Carol and Scrooge, respectfully.
The undisputed master of the underhanded deed. He charges folks a fortune for his dark and drafty houses. Us folk live in misery.
It's even worse for mouses.
Please, sir, I got some cheese.
Miss Piggy as Mrs. Cratchit, Kermit as Bob Cratchit, Gonzo is the narrator, and Tiny Tim did not die, and Scrooge. This is an opening song kind of similar to the Scrooge song.
And he sends his best to you too, Governor.
Father Christmas.
He's the meanest man in the old wide world, in the old wide world. He's a miser. He's a skimping. He's a stingy lass with his stocking out for your Christmas gifts. Gonna steal it.
The Christmas spirits that show Scrooge what Christmas really is like, and saying that he became one of the best people in all Christendom. And this is one of the best stories of Christmas outside of the Nativity and the Incarnation of Christ. But that is the third favorite story. The first movie is It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life. People say it's sentimental. When it came out, it was a bomb. I mean, critics didn't like it. Audience didn't like it. It wasn't until it got public domain and was showed ad nauseum on many, many different TV stations that it basically became a beloved classic. And I mean, yeah, some people say it's slow. You find out all about this guy's life, this guy George Bailey's life. But it's a great ride and a great story beyond. You see what all he has done for this town. And the thing is, if it was done today, you would have Americans for Prosperity and political candidates saying that Mr. Potter was unfairly maligned. Mr. Potter is a job creator who did a lot for the town of Bedford Falls. George Bailey, on the other hand, was giving loans to people to buy houses that clearly could not afford houses. And he was a sucker and a sap and should have took Mr. Potter up on his offer. We need more John Galts and less George Baileys. Well, I want to say to them, George Bailey is the American. The person who gives up his trip to Europe so he can help his father with he can take care of the business after his father, gives up college so he will continue to work when his brother gets married and gets in the plastics industry. He is a guy who's given all. He's a guy who sacrificed for neighbor and God. And I mean, it's heartbreaking. I mean, very similar to a Muppets Christmas movie, with Uncle Billy losing the money, and the movie takes a real dark turn with George Bailey throttling Uncle Billy and saying, "Don't you know what this means? This means prison. This means scandal. Well, one of us is going to go to prison, and it isn't me." And then he goes home and he borderline verbally abuses his family. I mean, his daughter, not Zuzu, is like crying when she's playing on the piano. And his wife, Donna Reed, says, "Why don't you just go? Why don't you just..." And he leaves, and he goes to Martini's, has a drink, and says this prayer.
Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope, right? Show me the way, oh God.
Desperate man in desperate times, and he tries to kill himself. But before an angel, Clarence Sodbody jumps in to save Clarence and shows George Bailey what life would be like without him. And you see all the things. We may not think that we're doing much. We don't think that we're helping, but we are. The ripples that we have in the pond of life changes a lot of people. Before I was saved, I was suicidal. I tried to kill myself several times. And whenever I watch this movie, I mean, it made me feel good. It made me know my life means something. And he comes home and he thinks he's gonna go to jail. I mean, and he's just shouting, "Merry Christmas, movie house! Merry Christmas, you old savings alone! Even knocking in the bank, Merry Christmas, Harry Potter! And a Happy New Year to you in jail. They're waiting for you. And he goes there, and he says, I'm going to jail, isn't that great? And hugs his family, takes the post on the stairway, kisses it, and puts it back. And all his friends, all his neighbors bring in money to help pay the loan, pay the bill, and maintain the savings and loan and keep helping people. I broke the jukebox too, although Martini might be considered a stereotype today. What I'm trying to say is God wants us to be a force for good in this world. And that is what Christmas is about. And before you say that I'm some secular humanist, I am a Christian and I believe in the fall. I believe that we were meant to do great things. We are meant to commune with God and commune with each other and live in perfect harmony. But the fall changed that. But we, believers, should be the light of the world. We should light the way to help heal and transform this fallen world. Don't be a Scrooge. Be a George Bailey. God bless.